All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another product design class where we learn how to create, groundbreaking products that will provide solutions to businesses and, to the world at large. So in today's class, we've been going through the journey of, trying to become a product designer, and we've actually, laid our hands on some basic things like understanding what UI is all about, getting a feel of what user experience is all about, and we even went as far as differentiating user experience, from a UX designer. You understand? And then we equally strike a big difference between UI UX designer and a product designer. Now we've also looked at some design thinking process, and we equally looked at user centric create how to create a user centric design and the process to follow. And then I think we now jumped into understanding how Figma interface work. We looked at FigJam and then we looked at Figma. And yesterday we learned, some basic tools in Figma. So in today's class, we are going to be entering into doing these things. I just believe, although there are still like a lot of theoretical part that we can still discuss, especially as it regards to, creating a product that puts the user experience like paramount. There's still a lot of theories, and I think there was a link I dropped on the WhatsApp group I think yesterday, laws of UX. Please, if you've not checked the link, please do check. I'm still going to drop another link that will be more comprehensive, but that will be when I'm giving the week's task. You understand? That's when I will drop that one, so we can have there are like 21 laws of UX and 101 laws of psychology of design. But I don't really want to push it out to us so that it will not be like we will not get choked up trying to consume the information. That's why I looked for an article that summarized the law of UX and I put it out there. So I'm expecting that before the week starts coming, you must have gone through the article, and then you must have had like a basic idea of what creating, a user-centered product is all about. And pointing out those laws will make you like actually feel like, oh wow, this thing is actually existing. So that's why I like this mobile app and I don't like this mobile app. So but in today's class, this class is going to be more like an interactive class, and then it's going to be more like an interactive class, because what we are doing now is all those things we've learned, theoretically, we are now going to try to apply it. Like, let's just start it one step at a time. Now the reason for that is because it's not just about like doing the teaching, like I'm doing the designs and then you guys are seeing it and then you're like wow. No, like the idea is like, okay, for you to actually be able to do it on your own. So I'm going to like make the floor entirely open, so we're going to like be having like a discussion, like interaction. So the ideas you are generating will just be documenting. So basically what I'll be doing is I'll just be guiding us so that we'll actually achieve something at the end of the class. So anyone that I think will like pull us out of the track, I'll just like bring it in just to make sure that we are progressively moving. So that's what we are going to do. So we have a task that we are going to be working with, because I think it's easier to learn something when you are actually doing that thing. So I'm going to bring up the task. So the essence of the task is actually, after today's class, still do your own personal research, like on the task, start developing your own product as it regards to that particular task, so that you actually learn more. But I just feel like, okay, that task is comprehensive enough and we are doing like the full job. We are doing it like from scratch, you understand, and follow all those design process that we've talked about. So I'll quickly share my screen now so we can start. So I believe you guys are seeing my screen now. Are you seeing my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes. That's
All right. So
Yes.
okay, now in my screen now we have a task which is I think I should just draw, which is this, and it states that we should develop an app that allows anyone chat with an expert and get desired help anywhere virtually in the world. So that is what we're in short, that's the problem. We want to create a product. Let me call it a product this time around. We want to create a product that will actually allow anybody in the world to actually have a chat or get connected to an expert that can help them solve their problem. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to streamline this to like the medical field, because when we are talking about like expert, we have different experts. We have experts in engineering, we have experts in the medical world, we have experts in in the automobile, we have experts in like different we have experts in different we have experts in different spheres of life. So let's streamline it so that we actually know that okay, we are working for the health sector now. So I'm going to change this to develop an app that allows anyone chats with a medical expert. So let's put it a medical expert and get desired help anywhere virtually in the world. So ladies and gentlemen, this is our task. So now we are supposed to brainstorm to know how to come up with these ideas. Now I think I just tried to make it a little bit wow. So I just tried to make it a little bit simpler here. So what I did was I outlined the design thinking process that we've talked about. Now I know that I didn't use the exact words, because we said it's empathize, define, ideate, prototype and test. Yes, I know, but I say how to use other words so that you will not be confused. Even during in the test, I mix the words like that, so you just know that okay, this thing actually means the same thing. So we have empathize, define, develop. Develop is the same thing with the ideating process. Now the deliver stage is you must have done the prototype and you must have tested. You understand? So deliverables are like the things you are delivering at the end of this job, which is of course the style guide and the design system, and of course the high fidelity prototype, which is like the finished job. So this is what we are going to follow to get this job done. So I just had to put it like that. Sorry guys, I need to share this link with you guys. We are supposed to be on this file together. Wow, I was supposed to do this before class. I didn't remember. I'm supposed to do this before class. Ouch, to delay a little bit. So guys, I just dropped the link on the WhatsApp group. Please, I need you guys to click on the link so we can actually be on this file together. So we can actually be doing the brainstorming together. So first of all, we are in the empathize stage. So after empathize stage, in the empathize stage, basically what we are going to be doing is we are going to be doing like a survey, conduct like interviews, and check competitor analysis. I have a double E in my competitor analysis. Yeah, check the competitor analysis and all of those. Now we might not pay more attention in competitor analysis, but competitor analysis is where we have to now go and do our research to check if there is already this kind of app existing. Now if this kind of app are existing, okay, what are they doing? What features do they have? You understand? Do we have a particular unique feature that we want to bring in? What are people saying about this product? What is their SWOT analysis? Like what is their strength, their weakness, and all of those. Now we are supposed to check all those things because we are product designers. We are equally thinking about the business side of what we are doing. So but we might not put too much work into competitor analysis, but we might just use random Google search to check up on something and probably read one or two reviews. So after that, the next stage is to create a problem statement out of the interviews we've conducted. So now that's where the class is going to be interactive, because we are now going to be like the users here. So we are going to be asking ourselves questions and coming up with answers, and then we are just going to be structuring it and placing it where it's supposed to be. So based on what we've said in class, I think that should just guide what we are developing, because we are the one, like, we are using ourselves now to conduct the research. So from there, we'll create a potential solutions, create user stories, user personas, user journey, and user flow. Now, my process to this might be iterative, you understand, but I just have to place this in like this, so you can always use this framework anytime. Now, there are a lot of other methods. There are still like there are still like other methods, like you create your affinity maps, your user journeys and all of those. Okay, I have user journey here. You create like user journey, and there are different kinds of testing: the spreadsheet test, the A/B test, the agile motility test, and all of those. So but let's just keep it super simple so we can make good use of the time we have. So okay, I'm not Nobody has clicked on the link. I'm not seeing anybody in the platform already, but I think I need to move this. Okay, I'm seeing Ahmed already. That's fine. So, first of all, for our interviews, I'm supposed to start. Okay, I'm supposed to. Okay, yeah. Let's do it this way. We want to conduct interviews now, so we're going to be conducting the interview like between ourselves. So I think everybody that is on this particular Figma file with me, you're supposed to have like editing access. So as a class ruling, I can be asking you to make one or two edits. So we do it together. So hold on, guys. So at the end of this class, sorry. At the end of this class, we should be able to create empathy map. Uh, okay, we should be able to create our empathy map, right? And then we should be able to come up with our user persona. So if we are able to achieve this before our time runs out for the class, I believe we've done a lot. But if we are not, we'll continue tomorrow. So I'm going down. Let me just bring this down here. So I'll put this yeah, somewhere around there. By the way, I have like infinity space to work with, so I'll make this big. So but before we can actually come up with our empathy map or user persona, we need to have like um, interview questions, all written down. Remember how we explain, you know, interviews. First of all, we said when we were talking about best practices, we said something like always being able to ask open questions to the users so that users can actually give you like more explanation, which is what we want to do. So let me just think of questions that we can start asking. So like as I'm trying to put like some things down, you can equally think on questions you can ask. We're trying to come up with our interview questions. I think because of time we can just come up with like 10, you know, or so in class. So you can think of your, let's use like 2 minutes to like think of interview questions, that we can ask that can give us a clue to how to solve this problem for the users. Remember that the problem is to develop an app that allows anyone chat with a medical expert and get desired help virtually, in the world. So for anyone to, it means that there is a problem already. You understand? And the problem is that okay, people do not have like easy access to medical experts. And I believe you can imagine that. So for instance, I have a special health case and I actually need a specialized, medical practitioner to talk to. You understand? So how do I relate to this person? Must I actually go to the hospital and stand in queues and all of those before I have access um, to this specialized, medical practitioner? Or is there an app that can actually, I can just go and I'll see like different medical practitioners who are online, and then probably the app can actually section it by category, maybe if it's for like surgery or physiotherapy or all those medical related cases. You understand? I can just probably, I need a surgery, I can now click on surgery section, and under surgery I will see different kinds of surgery and probably pick the one I want, and then I will have like medical experts who are professionals in that area, and I can choose anyone and probably book an appointment with that person with my mobile device. So I now know that okay, if I'm coming to a particular place, you understand, by so time, I've already booked an appointment, or must I come to the hospital to you know stand in queues before I even book an appointment and then come back another day just to come and see these medical experts. So now that is the problem. So we now need to figure out a way to make this thing very very easy for the user. So that's the line we should be thinking. So let's just give ourselves like because I want this to be because I want this to be a collaborative class, let's give ourselves like 2 minutes. If you're with your pen and paper, write down like your questions, and then after 2 minutes we'll come and then we'll brainstorm and organize our thoughts together. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
All right. So 2 minutes.
I dropped something on the comment section.
Okay, we'll check it out. All right. All right. 2 minutes is up. So okay. Rita, I actually saw what you dropped on the comment section. It's nice. We are going to work with that. So let's see. Let me come into the class. I have Chemela, Ahmed, Rita, Lillian, Precious, and Olivia. All right, guys. So now, okay, okay. Let me just say this now. When we are working on this kind of product, we have two people we are putting into considerations. Can anybody tell me the two people we are putting into considerations here? As designers now, or as the product developers now, we have two people we are putting into considerations. Can anybody tell me the two persons here?
Maybe the patient and the doctor.
Exactly. Correct. So we are putting into consideration the patients, whom of course is the users here, and the doctors, who of course are the experts. So now it's very very essential, like when trying to conduct, so we can actually have like two different kinds of interviews for like the users, and interviews for like the experts. So when trying to interview the experts, we might want to like understand how the experts would like to be compensated for his time. You understand? Because you cannot just go and meet like a medical doctor. You tell him, oh, you have a product and you need him to always check his mobile app and for bookings and set anytime he's free to attend to people. There has to be some form of compensation. So we're actually supposed to think in that line. So we can decide and say, okay, I might just take like two or three hospitals, go there, meet some professionals and have a chat with them, and then ask them like questions like, okay, how would they like to be compensated for their time? And then we might want to understand how they price their services, like for the experts. So okay, for each consultation you're giving to somebody in your office, like how do you do the pricing? You understand? Because from there you can now say, okay, so percentage can go to you, why so percentage can come back to the product for maintenance. Now that is how that is how we think as product designers. You understand? Because if it's just a UI UX, they're just interested in, okay, let's just do the design and deliver. But if you're working as a product designer, you need to put some of those things into consideration. You equally need to understand the average time that the experts will have, to respond to users. You understand? So it will not be like, okay, because they have access like virtual call, then the user will now come and stay with the consultant for like hours, saying random things. So probably you might want to put into consideration the time that each expert will have. If it's 30 minutes, like 30 minutes appointment or scheduling, if it's a virtual appointment, so state it like on time on the product that, okay, this 30 minutes, so from 8 to 8:30 you're going to have access to this, and after 8:30 the time is up, and probably you can make another schedule. So you might want to put in all those stuffs like into considerations. So now I'm going to like ask like one or two questions to us randomly, and as I'm asking the questions, I'll be documenting what we are saying. So I should use a sticker here to no, let me not use a sticker because of color, so we can boldly see. Let me just make it white. So user interviews. So first of all, who would like to be my user here? Let me just ask like few questions to the person who would like to assist me. Use with me on this. Nobody wants to talk now. Tolu, will you, do you mind helping me, Tolu?
Okay, no problem.
All right, so I'm just going to ask you like few questions, like probably three
Alright.
or four questions, and then okay, I need Tolu and one more person, or let's use Tolu. Now you remember that we said like you need to like try to interview like different persons to like get different views, but because of like time and what we are doing, so we just use one person. So I'll ask you like three questions. Then guys, I will not make the floor open. If you have any question that you want to still ask to do, so we can actually document, you can open your mic and then ask the question when the time comes, so we can document. Now we'll now see how we are going to use all the answers we've gotten from Tolu, to come up with our design. So Tolu, the first question I might want to ask you is okay, when do you normally use the internet in a day? Like when is the first time? When is the first time you use internet in a day?
Usually,
Eh? So I can't hear you.
I said in the morning, very early in the morning.
Okay, very early in the morning. Like, okay, it's possible that the first thing you do when you wake up is to use the internet, right?
Yes, first thing, yes.
Okay. Okay, somebody else should be helping me to type. Please, who else is on the system? Please just be helping me to type, so I won't be delayed with it. Olivia, are you there? Olivia, are you there? So I'll just put this to a green, so we know that.
That is um, answer.
Yeah. Okay, I think it doesn't change. So I'll just make this bold and then the answer light. So one more question that I could ask is what type of expert, what type of medical expert do you think you might need in your daily life?
Uh, Daily life.
Yeah, like in your based on your day-to-day activity, what type of expert do you think you might need?
That is the question.
Eh?
See, I use glasses, so maybe someone who is conversant in the, I don't know, in the, maybe an eye doctor or someone like an expert in
Okay, so daily
the
life,
optical aspect.
eye doctor. So eye doctor. Um,
Yeah.
if someone can actually be helping me to type this, I really appreciate. Uh, okay, okay. Now, when browsing through like, if for instance now you have access to a medical platform, right, that gives you access to different medical experts. Now, when browsing through that platform, how would you choose an expert to contact? Would you choose it by,
Sorry, come again.
like, how would you choose a medical expert to contact on a medical platform? Will you choose it by rating, like the doctor or the expert with the highest rate, or will you choose it by their profile picture, or are you selective? Would you want a guy to treat you because you're a guy, or you don't mind? How would you just choose? What criteria do you think you can use to choose?
Um, okay, the first criteria would be maybe their experience. Experience is very vital. And then um, I'll say affordability as long as um,
For example, a
the
female doctor, a consultant, not just a
yes,
registrar.
not just someone that is just starting or is probably doing how what is
So you're saying,
it,
so
something like internet.
if I get you correctly, you're saying like you're going to choose based on the experience you already have, right?
Yes,
You said affordability, like if their price is
yeah,
affordable. Did you
yes,
say? Did you say
yes,
affordability? Okay, what else did you say?
yes. And then specialization, like
Special.
you know,
Yeah, yeah,
how
specialization.
conversant they are with that particular.
Okay. Sorry guys, just give me a sec, like 10 minutes. I'll join you guys shortly, please. So, but someone can actually help me type this question. The question I asked him on the Fig Jam. I'll join you guys shortly. All right, so I'm back now. Can everyone hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, so ah, nobody helped me to type the question. We didn't remember the question again. I said
You said, what are you looking for? What criteria are you looking for in what criteria are you looking for in medical personnel?
okay. So so I asked a question like this, and you said you would choose based on their experience level, affordability, you know, and specialization basically. So I would like to ask you: have you used probably a web platform or a phone application to find an expert to help you before?
No, I have.
Okay. Have you used a web or mobile platform to find an expert help before? He said no. So he said no. Um, it's probably if there are any typo errors in my text, somebody can just help me to be correcting that. So which other
Sorry, I
question?
didn't get that.
No, I said if I have any typo error, someone can just help me to be correcting that, because I can't just be paying too much attention to those. So which other question? So okay, guys, the floor is open now. So based on the kind of questions I've asked, does anybody have any question you want to ask, like that will help our interview section? Um, Rita said, okay, how long have you been in this condition? Would you like to? So, like, how often would you always like to speak to a doctor? Ahmed, how often would you always like to speak to a doctor?
Um, I'd say periodically, maybe like twice, once every 3 4 months.
Okay, like that should be. Is that okay? Okay, You said every 3 months, right?
Yes.
Periodically. Yeah, just use every 3 months. It's okay. Now, based on this question that Rita asked, I would like to add like another question to it, which is if you are experiencing some medical flaws, you understand, like you're experiencing some like health challenges, would you rather give yourself like personal treatment before reaching out to an expert?
Um, no. Before, as soon as I know I have a problem, looking at
Okay. Nobody wants to volunteer to help me to do the typing. Um, Please, someone should just help me to be correcting my typo errors. So,
uh, Mm,
So
I'm trying to click on it to correct some
is you have made it view only. You have not yeah, you have not allowed us.
okay, please request that access from me, please. Okay, don't worry, I can.
errors, but click on it to correct some errors. But
Okay, let me just make everyone. Okay, I think you guys can edit now. So, um, ouch, my son always.
Don't have any that.
Eh?
No, no. Continue what you're doing.
So I think everyone on the file can actually edit now. So yeah. So Rita. So any other question? I was actually. Shemela, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. So Rita, I think the based on the kind of interview we need to conduct on this user, because we are assuming that the user is not ill now. The user is actually healthy, but we want to know if in any case the user needs any medical assistance, if he's willing to, like, first of all go through our products to get that um, help. So we don't need to actually ask the user if they need any emergency attendance or stuffs like that. But okay, I think we can actually, no, I don't think we need to. You understand? How long have you been in this condition? So he's not ill, so we don't need to ask him that kind of question. We are not reaching out to people that are ill for now. We are reaching out to people that, okay, no. How long have you been in this condition? Um, Ahmed is not ill, right? He's not ill. He's
No.
not ill. So because I think the question is actually okay, but it depends on the context. So now, while trying to raise your interviews, like, these are the things we are going to put into consideration. You understand? So maybe we might just want to have, okay, maybe in another case scenario, we're actually reaching to people that actually have medical challenges, that are trying to reach out to a doctor. So you might see those persons in, probably in a hospital environment or something. Those people that usually come to the hospital to stand in the line, just to book appointment or something. So we can actually ask questions like that. So yeah, we can actually ask questions like that. But I'm just thinking about what we are trying to do, like how the question would be able to help us. So I'll just leave that for now, because asking that kind of question now, might deviate, might make us deviate, because we now need to start thinking of, you know, alignments, people with different alignments that we can interview, and then know how we can actually develop a product. But we're just trying to create a product that, generally anybody can use. So probably I have, and um, probably just like Ahmed said, probably he wears glasses because he has this eye, you know, defect or something. And then every 3 months he wants to actually meet a doctor to actually do some cross check on his eye. Not really, but he just wants to keep that habit. So we need to be able to give him easy access to a doctor without him necessarily going to a hospital to stand in queues like for days before he actually gets to see a doctor. So I think we should just maintain that line. So because the health sector is actually a very big sector, so trying to bring everything together might you know be a very big project. You understand? So now, does anybody have any other question, like we can throw at Ahmed? We are using Ahmed as our user now. Let's just collectively use what every other person is saying and form our interview questions. Does anybody have any question now? Okay, while we wait for others, Ahmed, please, I would like to ask you now, what would you consider as a negative experience when receiving an advice from an expert? Yeah, what would you consider as a negative experience?
Yeah. You know, I know there are a lot of myths and there are a lot of myths that go around in the medical field. So you have people that will tell you that okay, this thing for Ebola virus disease that you should bath with deep palm oil or something like that. There was a time we were saying things like that, and then even COVID-19 too, they said that you should just drink salt and salt and hot water or something like that. So I would prefer, like I said before, it is, you know, I want the person to have, specific um, experience in that particular field, not somebody that is just a quack doctor, just come and giving advice, you know, be giving very, very bad advice, especially ones that they're not. I prefer someone that will give me someone that is specialized, that knows what he's saying, instead of someone that is just doing this or just doing anything just to.
Okay. So from what you're saying, you mean you value your time so much, so you wouldn't want to waste it, talking to somebody that is not specialized in the area that you need help from, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, please. Just because I want to get a general view, I would like to equally get a lady's say on this. Like, what would you consider a negative experience when talking with an expert? So I would like to get a lady's view on that. So please, any lady could just help us. What would you consider when talking? Remember, we're trying to breed a product, that will give us access to medical experts. So we are actually going to be talking with medical experts, either from the comfort of your home or probably when you have booked a physical appointment. So, any lady in the class, please tell us, what would you consider as a negative experience when talking with an expert? Guys, let's run. Lillian, Mirabel, Rita, Chemela, Olivia. Like, do you prefer a Nigerian based expert or an expert from other countries? Okay, yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question from Chemela. Do you prefer so help us, Ahmed, would you prefer a Nigerian based expert or an expert from other countries?
It it does not exactly have to be Nigerian based. Depending on depending on uh, depending on the problem. You know, something like malaria now. I know that malaria is not really a problem that some other countries have an issue with. So if I am if I'm interested on something that you know like something like that, like something that I know that is endemic to my own area, or it's only people that are in my country can relate to, then of course I'll prefer a Nigerian expert. But if it's something that there is not a significant breakthrough, there are some health conditions that again Nigeria's situation is not exactly it's nothing to write home about. So there are things that we don't have enough research teams and we don't have enough doctors that specialize in this area. Yes, again, it just boils down experience and specialization.
Okay.
How
So
well does the expert know about this particular issue?
now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been listening to the interview section experience with Ahmed, he has always been hammering on one thing, which is experience and specialization. So now, it simply tells us one thing, that in whatever product that we are trying to create, you know, we must always make sure to collect the experience level and the specialization and the area of specialization of that medical expert, because the user we are intending to develop this product has in different questions mentioned that this particular area is a keynote for him, or is a key for him to actually choose the kind of expert he wants. So we might actually want, to have like something like an experience level on the mobile platform, and to always have a place that we can actually state that, okay, this guy is specialized in this area. So while trying to develop the form that the expert is going to fill to sign up on our platform, we have to consider putting that option where they will fill in their experience level. Probably we can now say, okay, based on medical terms and all those things, okay, which exams have you written, those kind of questions. So it's now that this part is now opening our minds to, okay, we need to actually find out, okay, how to actually check the experience level. Do you check the experience level of a medical practitioner by the number of years he has been in the field, or do you check it by the achievements he has made in the field? So when we found that out, we'll now know, okay, which questions to answer, which questions to ask our expert. I mean, what are the achievements you've made in this field, or how many years have you actually been in this field? Am I communicating, guys?
Yeah.
So okay, I have like one more question I will ask you before we just leave the interview. So I just believe, guys, that we've, like, the truth is there are a lot of questions you can actually ask. There are a lot of questions you can actually ask. You can just see the few we've been able to come up with in class. So there are a lot of questions you can actually ask. I know we all have like a lot of questions. Okay, negative experience could be the use of big terms that doctors are fond of. Simple definition of terms will go well for me, or use of simple words. Okay, that's very good, and I'll add that to our research. So thank you, Rita, for that contribution. Yeah. So Rita would not like use of big terms. So he would always want the expert that he's communicating with to always use simple terms. So that will equally give us a key. So when we are trying to develop terms and conditions for working with our experts, we have to stipulate it that experts, when trying to talk with our users, you need to understand that these users do not have medical background. So always use simple terms. So we are getting informations, how to actually structure our app. You understand? So this is how you build the experience that users get, from an app. This is just how all these things come about. You understand? Just by doing these things and getting people's different views. One more question. In what method would you prefer to receive an expert's advice? Voice call, video, voice call, video recorded answer, or instant messaging or email? What do you think?
I personally prefer email.
You personally prefer email?
Yes.
Okay, does any other person have like any other suggestion to that? Like, any other person have like any other thing that he would prefer?
Yeah, I would prefer video so that I can remind myself what you said later.
You prefer a video call?
Video call
Yes,
is
or audio
preferable.
call. Yes, for me.
Okay, audio call. Some
Preferable for me.
okay, video call,
See the other person.
video call, email,
Yeah.
email,
I prefer instant message.
instant messaging. Okay, so we are getting like different views, like instant
Instant
message.
messaging will be fine.
Yeah, so we are getting like different, you know, views that the users will actually prefer this. So now remember that this we can from here now. Why trying to, state the statistical? This is like um, a quantitative user interview now where we are getting statistics. So we can actually state that okay, 20% said they will like video call, 30% said they will prefer email, while the remaining 50% said they will prefer instant messaging. Am I communicating, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, so we are getting data by just trying to put some of these things like into check. So because of time, I'm going to stop here like for the interview. Like I said earlier, we have like a lot of interview questions you can actually come up with. You understand? But
Come up.
yeah, so but we're just working with time. But I just needed to do this in class so you guys will actually see how this thing works. So when you're trying to work on a product, always feel free. Like you might ask yourself, okay, how does this interview questions come about? It doesn't just make your basic research. Like first of all, we try to understand the problem that we're working for, which is to develop an app that allows anyone chat with a medical expert and get desired help anywhere. So we now understood that particular statement, that particular problem statement that we're trying to. Okay, it's not really a problem statement, but let's just call it a problem because problem statement in user research actually means something else. So, but let's just call it a problem. So now we now understand the problem we are trying to solve. You understand? And from there we can just make Google is always your friend. You can always feel free to like do your basic search. Probably okay, like you can just anything that comes to your head, just make your random search. So from there, as you're doing all those little things, from there you're already having an idea of the kind of interview questions you can ask. So it's always good to have like 10, at least 10 to 15 interview questions. Now please, if you check the kind of interview questions we're asking, you saw that okay, most of the questions we have here are like questions that could give us a clue to making our products better. You understand? If you remember the class where we discussed about user interviews, you remember we said something like okay, we should always ask questions that will actually give us like an answer that will support what we're working on. So don't gonna be asking questions that after asking you can't even put it into use, to work on your product. So just as you're creating your questions, you just be asking yourself, okay, how can this actually help me to develop this product? If you're not seeing anything, you might just want to keep it to one side. You understand? You might not totally disregard it because there's what they call subordinate question, especially when you're having like a physical interaction with the user. So they are just like questions you might just want to just ask, probably just to make the user smile, or just to make the environment not to be so intense, so some of those things are just there. But when you're trying to like develop like a form, like we can actually all these interviews now, all these interview questions now, we can actually create a Google form for it. In short, I think that should be an assignment. Now go ahead, like ladies and gentlemen, after this class, from now till next week, go ahead, create like questions that you think can help you solve this problem, like this problem that we're trying to solve now. Now send it out to your contact, tell them some. I will drop a template um, on the WhatsApp group, like hi, my name is so and I'm trying to create a product in the medical line. I'll just give you guys like a template to use. Now you can send it out to like your friends, like probably 5 or 6, or like how many of them will give you a reply, so you can actually see the response that people are giving you. You understand? And as we are working on it, like I'll be working on the project based on what we already have. You can also be working on your own life with us based on the results you've had. But you will send me a copy of your response that you've gotten from your users. So probably I could just pick some stuff and add to what we are doing so we can actually work on them together. But I want you guys to actually try to create your own interview questions, send it out so you get the experience of what it means to construct questions for a problem and actually get feedback that will actually help you to solve that problem. Am I communicating, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
So let's proceed. So we have this as our interviews. So I'll just keep this aside. Then The next thing we can try to create now is our empathy map. Where did I put that? I think I put it. We can try to create our empathy map. Remember that we said our empathy map is just like a 4 quadrant that contains what the user says, does, or feel. So basically we can actually get these informations from our interview here. So I can actually say, okay, my user is saying that he likes this. Probably my user said he likes his internet. In the internet is like the first thing he uses anytime he wakes up. My user said my user feels like he does not want his time wasted. All those things, all those informations that we've gotten while doing the interview. Now we'll now come and arrange it. Now that it's here now. Oh God. Now that it's in this our interview sheet now, it's not properly organized. So we can now come and organize it based on what we can now come and organize that information based on what the user have said, what the user feels, what the user thinks, and what the user does. Am I communicating, guys? So I'll just differentiate this with the color. It's like I'm not communicating with this one there. Nobody responded. Just make this a light color and green color. Which color should that be? Okay, blue. So we equally have our paints and gains here. But these paints and gains, I'll make it like this, and then this, like this. I'll make this black. I'll make it black because it's just paints and gains. So we'll make it black color. Now another thing is you can actually choose the design you want on this. It must not be the way I'm arranging mine. I'm just arranging mine so it will be clear to us. You understand? To just be clear to us whenever we want to revisit it. Now, but good thing here is I actually want you guys to see how we are using this FigJam to brainstorm. So we are going to leave this empathy map till we all gather our questions, because I think we need more questions. We need more questions for that. So now you already know the kind of questions you're going to be coming up with. You'll be coming up with questions that will tell you what the user is saying. You'll be coming up with questions that will tell you what the user is thinking about this kind of product. You'll be coming up with questions that will tell you what the user feel about this kind of product. Then you will come up with questions like the pains and gains of the users. Like if you're thinking about the pain, maybe you can ask them to tell you probably the last time they tried to receive an advice from an expert using a web or a mobile phone. You understand? Did the expert fulfill what they were looking for? Did the expert fulfill his own part? Did the expert give them attention? Was the expert too arrogant? We are getting to know their pains in this thing, because that is what is going to give us advantage when we finish developing this product. Am I communicating? So those are the kind of questions you're going to be asking. You understand? So after you must have asked it, sometimes after you must have asked it and probably gotten it in this kind of form, because you're going to be using a Google form or any form but Google form is always good. After you've gotten it and then you've had all the answers in this kind of form, you now want to come and start reading through it. So for instance, now if I come here now, I will say, when you normally use the internet, the first thing he does is to check the internet in the morning. So what this user does, the user normally use the internet first thing in the morning. Now the reason why we ask that question is because for us to actually connect this user to an expert, the user needs to actually have like an internet enabled device. So I might even go ahead to ask the user, okay, which platforms do you use most? So based on the platform the user is telling me that he uses most, I will now know, okay, is this user a regular internet user? Can he actually afford to always have data on their phone for a video call and stuff like that? Guys, am I flowing, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
You understand? So now I can now come and say, okay, when do you normally use this internet? The first thing it does is to check the internet. So if I have decided that this will be my do quadrant, I can come here and say I can come here and say the first thing it does is to use now. I've been able to pinpoint what this user is doing. Am I communicating, guys? So this will be I'll put maybe do quadrants. Let's use do quadrants. I think it will be simpler for us to do quadrants. Here it's what the user feel quadrants. Empathy map can come here and it can be bigger, so I'll make you large. So we have empathy map. So we have the do quadrants. User uses internet every morning. Okay, we've gotten that from. So this is like we are trying to now map our we're trying to like create a map for our design now. So we're trying to map everything, to arrange it so that I don't need to come and start going through all these things. Once I am on my map now, I can say, okay, this quadrant now tells me everything the user is doing. So I can just, if I'm thinking or I'm trying to work on a product, but I want to revisit to check what the user is actually doing, I have like, a section I've actually mapped out and I arranged everything the user is doing. Now remember that this research is not like response from one person. At least you could just have like 5 persons. So you can actually say, okay, user 1 is doing this, user 1 uses internet, user 2 does not use internet in the morning but he uses internet in the afternoon based on the kind of job he is doing. User 3 does not even use internet at all. They don't have access to an internet enabled device, but they have access to a mobile device. Does that mean that we need to think of a way to create a US SSD code for them? Probably if they dial it, it will be a tariff-free plan, and they can talk with an expert or something. Do we need those? If you are bringing those things down, what will be the benefits? How are we going to like make money for the money to maintain that service, and still offer these things for free for the users? So by this now we are seeing a lot of possibilities, and we are seeing a lot of things that will start coming in, and we are now following them to get answers to them. And that's when you now see that, okay, for you to actually work on a full product, you have to actually work with teams, you have to work with the technical department, you have to work with the program management department, you have to work with the human resource department. So as you're bringing these questions, any question you cannot ask, let's assume you're working for a startup that already have all these sectors put into place. So any question, as you're working on that project, any question you are bringing in and you don't have the full answer, you already know that, okay, is this department that is supposed to provide answer to this? You can channel the question to them so they give you an answer, so you can actually document it in what you are doing. Am I communicating, guys?
Yes.
So what type of medical expert do you think you need in your daily life? So now in the 10 quadrants, we have the 10 quadrants, is what the user say, feel, think, or do. So we can have the 10 quadrants. Now he said he always needs a eye doctor, and I think he said he needs that every 3 months. So that is what the user thinks. So we can put it in the 10 quadrants, and that is how you just do, and you will complete your empathy map. So do we guys get how this thing works now, right? Do we get how it works?
Yes.
All right. So like I said, we have this assignment. Assignment 1 is to create your interview question, send it out like at least 5 of your friends. You understand? If you don't know how to create a Google form, I might just do a very short video on that and post on WhatsApp. So if you don't know how to create a Google form, just reach out to me. You understand? When I check if it's something I can tell you personally, I'll tell you personally. But if like a lot of person does not know, I'll just do a video and then drop it on the group chat. I'll just show you guys how to create Google form. It's actually very easy. Just enter into your Gmail, go to your menu button, you will see Google Forms. Just click on it, click create and then type in your questions. If it's a multi-choice question, just type it there and send out. If there are options, like maybe you want them to, like this one we said something like what method would you prefer to receive an expert call? We have voice call, video call, you understand? So we can put all those voice call as multi-choice questions, so they will now click the one they want. Now all these other ones that we actually need them to say something by themselves, like this one that you said, do you prefer an Nigerian based expert, or okay, this one is even a multi-choice question. Like this one that we said, what will you consider as a negative experience when talking? So that one is just like a paragraph. So instead of putting it multi-choice, you put it paragraph, so they get to fill in and then submit. And it's as simple as that. So you can create all your questions and then you publish it. It will give you a link that you can circulate to your friends and then ask them to just fill that. But I'll do a video on that. I'll just do a video and post it on the group to just help us, if that, because you'll be doing that more often these days. So so after we must have done that assignment and we've gotten our user interview, before our next class, you guys will have to send me the response you've gotten from your users, so we can now merge everything here. So it will be like we actually did like a real research for this product. Let's not just be limited to what we're doing in class. We actually did a real research because I want us to actually work on a real project. That's why we are doing this, and I want us to have that real feeling, you understand, so we can actually get used to the idea. So it will look as if you're working on a real project. Then from there we'll just fill in all the things we've gotten in our empathy map. So after creating your empathy map, now the next thing to create is your user persona. Time. Please, okay, can you guys just spare me like this is like 9:21. Can you guys just spare me from now till 9:30? Let me just try and see what we can do with user persona.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the next thing now is the user persona. Now when considering the user persona, when we were talking about user personas, I think we spent a lot of time in the user persona. When talking about the user persona, we outlined that we need to capture the goals and the frustrations of that user. You understand? We need to capture like the demography of that user, which will include probably the name of the user, which is important, the age, what they do, their work, their location, and their career status quo. You understand? And then because user persona is like an imaginary, a semi-fictional character. What I mean by a semi-fictional character is that the user might be existing or the user might not be existing. So in this case now, let's assume that the user is not existing. You understand? But we've actually conducted some basic user interviews. Then from there we can now decode, okay, based on these 5 different responses we've gotten from 5 different people, these are their pains, these are their frustrations, these are their goals and stuff like that. And it's still in the user persona, while trying to come up with user persona that will now establish our problem statement and our problem solution, and equally state sorry, forgotten. Okay, yeah, problem statement, problem solution, and then our user stories. That's what we are going to create under our user persona. So let's just try and do that quickly and see how far we can go. So user persona, I'll make you bold. So first of all, what we are going to do is, let me just get a random picture here. Let me just search model, just because it's advisable to have like an image, because an image makes the story like relatable. So I'll just use like anybody's picture I see on the internet. Now I'll just bring this person. So this is our user, so we are considering her. So I'll just crop her a little bit. Just crop this. I'll crop this. That's okay. So we have our user now. So normally I can go ahead to ask like the name, the age. The name is very important. So I can say her name should be Natasha, or let's use Olivia. So her name should be Olivia. We can just make it large. So have Olivia. Then we can have Olivia's age. Can have Olivia's age as probably 25. Olivia works in an educational system or educational institution. So I'm just trying to make it up like that. Institution. She's not married. She's not married, right? Family, single. Location should be somewhere in let's use Lagos. Lagos. And then career type is her career is that she's which career should we give Olivia now? Let's just say she's an architect, right? She's an architect. And she's a caregiver. She's an architect, and while we were trying to talk with her, we found out that Olivia gives a lot of care and a lot of love. So we can just put something like that. Shows any information that you can get from your user, just put it there. Shows care and love always. Care and love always. So that information would like give you like a little idea about the kind of person that Olivia is. That's just the idea. So any kind of information that you can get about Olivia, we can just put it there. So I think based on this, I have done like a good work on the demograph. I've been able to get a basic background. So I now know who Olivia is. I know that Olivia is 25 years, works in an educational institution, she's single, she stays in Lagos, she's an architect, and she shows like a lot of love and care. Good information. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. So now we might want to start thinking about the frustrations and needs of these users. So we can come here and do something like needs, probably needs and goals. Maybe let's make it the needs and goals of this user. Needs and goals. So we can start figuring it out from our interviews that we've had with this user. Maybe I should make this a little bit bigger so it can be all visible on the screen. So we have needs and goals, then we have frustrations, because basically we said that's like the main information that the user persona should capture. So in the needs and goals now, because of time, I'll just drop like one need I think we should put in this kind of product and one frustration I think we should put in this kind of product. When we are done with our assignments, we'll be able to figure out more stuffs. So first of all, I might say that one of their needs is that they need a way to post what they are looking for medically, and get a qualified expert respond to them timely. I think that could be a need, right? My brain is actually very very hot, so I don't know. Yeah, So she, I think that can work. She needs a way to post her medical needs and get an expert respond to her timely. So based on this, we already know that okay, we actually have to have like a place um where users can actually post like okay, we need so thing, and probably an expert can connect with them, or we will have like a place where we already have an expert, and then users can just choose the expert they want to talk to and then post their questions directly to that expert, and that expert will have to respond to them within space of 24 hours. So like all these things now, like as I'm doing these things, the product is already forming in my head. I'm having an idea what I'm supposed to work on. So basically guys, that's how you do your research, that's how you like come up with ideas. So when you're in your system, like you're trying to think about stuff, like these things just come into your head, and as it's coming into your head, you already having an idea, okay, this is the area I should pay more attention to. And before you know it, you have an imaginary idea of how this product should look like. In as much as yes, there will be alterations, but because when you start doing the testing, showing to other people, they can now they can point like they can show you things that probably you didn't see originally, but you already have something you can bring out, to the public. So basically that's how it works. So I want you guys to actually get a feel of that. That's why we're doing this. So frustrations could be okay, frustrations could be because she's an architect. Could say something like I find it because she's an architect, normally as an architect should always have tight schedules. So I find it difficult to book appointments that would tally with her schedule. So I think that will work. I find it difficult to book appointments that tally with my schedule. Yeah, I find it difficult to book appointments that tally with my schedule. That could be a frustration, right? So meaning that while we're trying to develop, while we're trying to develop these products, we should actually think of allowing the users be the one that will book their appointment. So for instance, now when we are developing the product, let it be that okay, it is not us that will tell you that the experts will be available in so time. We can have times like probably on Mondays we'll have like 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Now let it be that the user will now be the one that will choose, okay, I want 3 o'clock, I want 9 o'clock. That is a superb idea or superb solution, and we're able to get that by trying to brainstorm, trying to conduct our user research. That is why user research is always very important when trying to come up with your product. Am I communicating, guys?
Yes.
Any questions so far based on what we've done?
I wanted to ask, what exactly do you say they're going to forward to the WhatsApp? Is it the questions we are going to ask as
No,
we
no, no,
are
no.
going to interview the people?
No. It's just like
Or
it's not.
are we going to be the one that will bring out the questions?
Yeah, you're going to be the one that will generate the questions. I'm not sending the questions. I'm just going to send you like, there is this template. Like I don't know if you guys have seen a form. You see something like, hi, I'm so person, and I'm conducting a research on so and so. Could you just help me to fill in this form? It will just take you like 2 minutes or so. Thanks. Like that's just what I mean by a template I will send. I'm not sending the questions. The question is the assignment. Like you coming up with the question and then sending it out to your audience, like probably like 5 persons is okay, or maybe you can do less, maybe like 3 to 5 persons is okay. Let's just get different views because we have like more people in class. So by the time person A, person B gets like 3 persons response, you understand, on the kind of questions they've sent on Google, and then we'll compare. We can actually come up with something that we can use in building the product. You understand, Olivia? Do you understand?
Yes, yes. But can we use this your question?
Yes, you can still go ahead and use these questions that we've come up with in class, so we can actually get different response, because this I think this Ahmed, or is it Ahmed or Toluwani? Yeah, Toluwani is still Ahmed, not Taiwo. I was thinking of Taiwo. So I think this is Toluwani's response. So we can equally get other users' response, and then we can compare. Yes, we can compare. Let's see what other people are saying about the same kind of questions. So we can still use it, but still try to come up with your own questions. Like if you're using my questions or the questions we've stated in class, still try to come up with at least 5 questions, because the idea is to actually know how to come up with these questions. You understand? I think the only reason why I'm able to come up with these questions like in class is because before the class started, I've actually thought out through what we are going to do in class. So I had an idea the kind of questions I'm supposed to be asking. You understand? So you should be able to do that kind of brainstorm to have the idea of the kind of questions you're supposed to ask, because you're going to be doing your own projects one day personally. You get? So we need like more options in the needs and frustrations. Probably we can just have like 3 points, but I just brought out one. You understand? I'll leave that, so in next class we now, based on our research, we can get the remaining two. So aside from that, we can get the motivations, you know, and then we can equally get like the basic brands they use. Maybe they use more of Instagram, they use more of YouTube, you know. But just the idea is just to connect us more. Now, after that, one more important thing is important thing we need to bring out in this part is the problem statement. Okay, can anyone think about a problem statement at this stage? Like, because in this particular stage now, while we are doing this brainstorming now, we need to now tell ourselves, okay, this is the problem, gongo, this is the main problem we are solving. In short, while trying to do your user persona, we used to make it very big, make it big and bold. So when you're looking on your system and you're scrolling through, your eye will still be going to the problem. You understand? Which will of course be guiding you to the kind of solutions you want to provide. So we'll get a problem statement and we get a solution statement, a potential solution statement. You understand? So can anyone figure out like what we can use for the problem statement here? It's usually anything. Like, but so far it's like identifying the problem we're trying to solve. Anybody? Anybody?
How about making how to make medical consultancy easy or something like that?
Okay, now, yeah. First of all, if you remember when we were talking about how to create a problem statement, it has to always be about the user.
Hello?
Are you with me? Are you with me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I said it's the problem statement always have to be about the user. So it always has to have, like, if you remember, we said that it has like the username, the user characteristics, the user needs, and probably their insights, like what they want to achieve. You understand? So it's always very good.
I
Like,
can hear you. I can hear you very well.
okay, so it's always very good to start with the user. Let's just say, okay, we don't have a name now, so you can always start with the user. So maybe you might say the user. I think what did you say? What did you say, Ahmed? Okay, I think Ahmed, can you still hear me? I can't hear you. Okay, I can't hear Ahmed. Does anybody have any other suggestions on how we should structure our problem statement? Okay, well, I can say something like the user needs the user needs a let me just user needs a health assistant, because this is like a health assistant app, right? A health assistant that will provide specific health needs. I think it's a specific something. So user needs a health assistant app that will that will provide a specific health need, because our app will be providing a specific health need, because we are going to structure the app to be able to streamline, because the health in health we have like different different areas. you know we have the eye, we have the leg, we have different areas. I'm sure you understand that, so that's why we're making it more specific. So I think any user coming to the app will actually want like a specific thing that they are looking for. So that's why we're using the word specific. So now we've been able to identify the user now in this problem statement. Remember that we said, guys, this thing is very important, very very important. Like how to identify your problem statement. We said, or how to, create your problem statement. First of all, it needs to have like the username. So, or it needs to talk about the user, which we've been able to do that. Now we need to talk about the user characteristics, their needs, and of course their insights. So insights is like what they are getting. So username, user characteristics, user needs, and their insights. So as I'm thinking about creating my problem statement, I'm trying to make sure that the statements will actually meet, if not all, but at least I think it's like five. So if not five of them, like four of them. So user needs a health assistant app that will provide a specific health need. So we now need to talk about why they need this kind of app, right? So I might say something like why they need it is because they are busy. Let's use that, because architect Olivia is busy, and probably and they struggle they struggle with maybe, since it's an app, I might say they struggle with web platforms, right? They struggle with web platforms. It's all platforms to book appointments, right? To book appointments, because the main thing we are building for is we're trying to connect the users to the experts, and how we do that is that they have to book appointments. So it's web platforms to book appointments. So now we need to talk about like what they will be benefiting, like the insights they get, or some sort of they struggle with web platforms to book. What am I even saying? Because they are busy and they struggle with web platforms to book appointments. Okay, I think that's okay. Because booking appointments is actually what they need to get. Are you guys understanding what I'm doing? Are you guys actually feeling what I'm doing? Hello, can anyone hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me? My God, can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Do you know that? Do you know that I've been talking since. I've been actually been talking since, and I didn't know that my system have disconnected. So,
So
but
sorry for that.
but that no, it's fine. So, but I was asking like if we actually understand these problem statements. I don't know the last thing I said. Okay, what was the last thing that you guys said? Because I've been saying like a lot of things since. What was the last thing you guys said? Can someone help me? Like the last thing you heard? Statements. Can someone help me, please? Okay. Nobody wants to help me because of time. Let's continue, please. So I was just trying to explain how this problem statement came about. So I said when trying to create a problem statement, if you guys remember when we talked about problem statements in class, I said that first of all it has to, have like a username. So probably I can say that user Oliver now. Let's use probably user Olivia. Although it's not like necessarily important. But I think what made me point that out is I think when Ahmed was saying something, like he didn't streamline it to the users. Now from this point, from the point where we started like mapping out our the answers we've gotten from our interviews, like creating our empathy maps and you know working working out our user personas, everything we are now doing from that point is about the user. You understand? So that was why I had to like start talking about the importance of like streamlining it to the user when Ahmed, suggested a problem statement. So, but I went ahead to do this. So we have a problem statement where user Olivia, you understand? But I think if you have only user there, it's still okay. Which of course has fulfilled the part that said okay, it has to be user centered. Then we're trying to talk about user characteristics. We said the problem statement has to fulfill or have to have like the username, user characteristic, user needs, and insight. Insight is like okay, benefits, what they are getting, what they want to do. You understand? So we have an insight what they want to be using this product to do. So we now said user Olivia needs a health assistant app. So this is what user Olivia needs. She needs this health assistant app. Now, why does this user needs this thing? So she needs it so that to provide a specific health need for her because she's busy. You understand? Am I communicating, guys? Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Yeah. So she needs this app because she needs it to provide a specific health need for her. Now what why am I putting specific? Because most times now, you know, she's not just coming there because she just wants to get a generalized, health support. There is a particular need, probably like the one Ahmed mentioned. He said for eye, he normally likes having his eye checked every 3 months. So that is a particular need. It is streamlined to something. He does not need you to come and check if he's having pains in the stomach. If that is what he needs, then that he will be specific about it. So that's why he needs that product. So he needs it to provide him or her with a specific health, answer. Because of what? Because they are busy. Now, why are they busy? We are using this person. Our Olivia is our architect, so we can assume that she's busy. She has a very tight schedule. She needs to go to site. She needs to meet up with clients, discuss terms, and all of those. So she does not actually have the luxury of time to be going to hospital just for you to check his eye. But can I actually have a conversation with you from my own comfort? So that is why. So they are busy and they struggle with web platforms to book appointments. You understand? So that is why we are creating this mobile application. Do you guys get the idea? And I think that has solved your problem statement. So I don't want the problem statement to look like one big deal. I'm just trying to show you guys how you can just talk about what the user needs and why they need this thing and you've come up with your problem statement. Do we understand?
Yes, oh, yes.
Any questions? Any questions? Any questions so far? Okay, in absence of no other question, like we are going to stop here for the class because I think we've done a lot. So this is just how we come up with our user research. So please, if you can carry out the research like probably by tomorrow, so we can have data that we can work with by tomorrow's class. But in tomorrow's class, we'll go ahead to like fill up some of this user persona because our user persona is not yet complete. Can go up to fill probably the
Hello,
motivation.
Max, excuse me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can we save this stuff? Okay,
Yes.
can I save this stuff? Like
Yes,
this class now?
Yes, you already have access to it. I've shared this link on the group, so if you're on this file now, you always have access to this particular file.
Okay, okay.
Do you understand? So you already have access to this. So anybody that clicks on the link, that I put on the group will always have access to this file. So you can use it. So guys, that's just how brainstorming is actually done. So I needed to take us through this brainstorming section. So today's class was just for us to do the brainstorm. So in tomorrow's class, we are supposed to finish up with the brainstorm and then we'll now start converting this English. Let me use that word. This English that we are speaking in this particular work phase to designs. First of all, we are going to convert it to a flow chart because let me go back to my in the deliverables here we stated that we are going to have our flow chart. So we've come up with our problem statements. We didn't come up with our potential solution, but obviously our potential solution is quite obvious, but we're still going to write a paragraph about it, but I'll leave that for tomorrow's class. So we're working on our user persona, and from our user persona we're going to get our user story, and from our user story we'll come up with a user journey. User journey is just like the moods that they will get while using our product, so we can easily get that when we've already started designing our product. Then from there we'll get our user flow. So from user flow now we'll now enter into wireframes, and from there we've started designing. Do you guys understand? So that is how the flow is. I just want us to see it as okay, this is actually very simple. That's why we are taking this time to make sure we have this foundation. Is that okay, guys?
Yes, it's okay.
All right. So we are going to stop here for today. We're going to stop here for today. So tomorrow again we continue, and then probably by the time we finish tomorrow, here will all be filled up with informations, and then we can start designing, and doing all of those. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for making our time to be in today's class. We'll continue again tomorrow, same time, same venue. Do have a wonderful night.
Have a wonderful